Hello everyone and welcome to today's lesson. The cyclone. The wide prairie land of Saskatchewan became golden. With the sun beating down on the grass, cracks formed and the grass turned golden. There were only a couple of houses on the prairie. The houses were small. The wood had to be carried over a long distance from the city on a wagon. Xander, a boy of 10, lived in one of the houses there. He lived with his parents. Their house had a nice blue color, but the color has faded away. It was now a dull yellow color, which matched with the golden prairie. The house had 4 blue walls and a blue roof. A room had a cooking stove in one corner where Xander's mother used to cook. A table was placed near the cooking stove. A cupboard where they kept books was next to the stove. In one corner there was his bed, and in another corner there was his parents' bed. His father had a poultry farm where his mother used to help him. Inside the house, they had a small hole in the ground called the cyclone cellar. This cellar was built to protect them in case of a cyclone. A whirlwind can crash any building coming in its path. Xander's father used to tell stories of how his mother used to be young and full of energy when she came to live with him. But now, she is as pale and yellow as the grass outside. The sun and the wind changed her too. She was thin and never smiled now, nor did his father. He has also become grim and serious with age. His hair and beard were yellowing. He would work on the farm all day and rarely talked. His parents have reached an age where they did not laugh. They would look at Xander with distaste if he laughed. Xander had a cat, Marty, to keep him company. It always made Xander laugh and smile. Marty was anything but yellow. It was nice and white with fluffy silky hair. Xander spent time with his cat all day long and laughed at all the funny things it did. One day, Xander sat outside the house with Marty in his lap, while his father sat on the porch looking up at the sky. It looked very grey. His mother was cleaning the house. Xander and his father could see the grey storm kicking up dust at a distance. The yellow grass was also becoming grey, even as the dark storm clouds were rolling above. They could hear the faint whistling of the wind from a distance. Slowly the whistling turned into howling. They could see the grass swaying wildly in the wind. The wind was moving very fast towards them. "There is a cyclone coming," Xander's father suddenly exclaimed as he stood up and ran towards the farm. "Both of you, go inside while I protect the livestock." Uncle Henry stood up too. Xander's mother came to look at what was happening outside. The storm clouds and the winds were enough to tell her that it was dangerous outside. She screamed at Xander to rush into the cellar. As he was about to jump into it, Marty shot out of his arms and ran under the bed. While he rushed to catch Marty, his mother climbed down into the cellar as she was really frightened. As soon as Xander caught the cat, he ran towards the cellar. But just as he reached halfway across the room, there was a huge gust of wind. Xander lost his balance and suddenly fell on the floor. Just then, a peculiar thing happened. The north and the south winds met exactly where the house stood, making it the center of the cyclone. Owing to very high pressure on all sides of the house, it whirled around 2 to 3 times and rose slowly into the air. It whirled around 2 or 3 times and rose slowly through the air. The house rose higher and higher at the very top of the cyclone like a feather. Marty was again terrified and started running about the room. But Xander was too afraid to run after the cat up in the air. Xander thought he had lost his cat. But owing to the high pressure winds, it was impossible for anything to fall. So Marty did not fall. Just like their house, he saw Marty's tail through the hole and quickly grabbed it. He then pulled it up and closed the trapdoor to avoid any other accident. As the house continued to fly through the air, Xander became less afraid. Nothing had happened except that the winds were streaking. He stopped worrying and decided to leave the future to fate. As he got bored, he and Marty slowly crawled towards the bed and waited for the winds to become quiet again. As he closed his eyes, Marty fell asleep.